I work with a lot of people in everything from politics to high-level transactions to infomercials. When you switch a word on somebody, it changes the biochemistry of them. And I can go deep on that, but this is really important to understand. So when someone goes, that's expensive, you say, actually, it's not. It's very close to the going rate. It's very competitive. What it is it's unexpected. No one is comfortable looking at that many zeros and that many numbers. So let's have that conversation now. And let's talk about that. No matter where you go, it's going to be give or take. It's really who you're going to choose to work with. You got to live with this place long term. And most people are never going to have this conversation. And most people are not going to communicate with you. They're going to send you an invoice. You're going to pay a bill. And then you don't have a partner. All you have is the price that you might have wanted. So this really has to matter. How much does it matter having the right person on your team? And that's the conversation I want to have, one that no one will probably have with you. I promise you this, builders, okay, contractors out there, when you start talking this way at a human level with people, they go, holy shit, this guy cares about me. This guy actually a deeper conversation.
Welcome to the Onsite podcast. We chat with contractors, educators, industry professionals about the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's fucking get into it.
What's up? What's up? We are back today, episode 21. Today we have Michael Bernoff.
We'll do Bernoff. We'll do Bernoff. Bernoff.
I don't know why I had Bengoff in my head. We got Michael. We got Michael with us today. He's the founder of the Human Connection Institute in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm super excited to have this conversation. Lots of great energy. Michael, thank you so much for having
Brandon
on the show today.
Super excited. And I got to tell you, we know it's going to be great today with a intro and a name redo like that. We're going to be great.
Yeah,
that's what happens. I mean, if you think about business as a whole, we life's like that, right?
Yeah, you gotta roll with the shit as it comes to you. So that's awesome. Well, I'm excited to dive into this. I've been following your content, dude. I came across you on Instagram one day. I was just in my feed. You were doing a keynote, and you kind of come down from the stage, I think, and you were starting to talk with some people in the audience, and you're really just extracting this level of awareness from somebody within the audience that I haven't really seen. Most people just kind of talk. It's all surface level bullshit, if I'm being completely honest. Whereas you were really digging deep with this person. I was like, fuck, I really like this guy. I'm gonna have a chat with him. And then we got you on the podcast. And so I'm excited to dive into this. Michael, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Yeah, love to. So right off the bat, I know most of you guys do in the contractor world. So I'm in the middle of dealing with a lot of contractors right now on a couple of projects. So that's one thing I have been doing. If professionally, my little one asked me this morning, my 13-year-old, like, how did you get into communications, influence, and training people? Well, in 2003, which is, 23 years ago, I got obsessed with the idea of how words affect the things that we do, how to get performance out of people and myself by the language and the words that we use. And we've got a beautiful institute here in North Scottsdale. Over 23 years, we've coached, trained, worked with, assisted, consulted about 300,000 small business owners, large business owners, and their families on how to use their language and their communication to get the things they want out of life. Simple as that. Language and communication. We don't teach sales, Brandon. We teach influence.
I love that. And that's a critical part of the transaction is the influence and the conversation that you're having there. So I'm excited to dive into this with you. And so the podcast is on site. That's what it's called.
I thought I had to be there today, and then I realized you're in Canada. I'm like, how the hell am I going to be on site? I saw that on my calendar. I'm like, how am I going to be on site? And
then you got to book a flight.
On site, yeah.
yeah.
Like, meet me on site. I'll meet you on site. Bring your pickup truck. I'll bring mine. I'll meet you on site.
Yeah, exactly. No. So one of the things that, comes up regularly with contractors is just, they always kind of say, that they're overpriced or their clients' objections are price related. And I always say that, it's not necessarily that it's price related or that it's overpriced. It's that they have kind of fumbled the conversation with the client to really understand what they're looking to achieve. And so with your experience, what would you say would be like something that we could share with contractors to really wrap their heads around, really getting into a serviced mindset about providing clients, with this experience, but also understanding that it's not about price. It's about an experience that they're trying to get. What would you be your insight on, on the human mind of a customer?
Well, let's talk about language and let's talk about words here for a couple seconds. So, Brandon, I was hoping we could role play here for a second. So, one of the words people say is that is expensive, correct, or that's overpriced. We've heard that a lot of times, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
if we keep this together on the screen, I believe that for this one thing, we'll be able to rock and roll. So, I started teaching this 15 years ago. When somebody says what the price is, what I always tell them is this: so when somebody says very very simply, you know what, this is expensive, I pause and wait and say, actually, it's not. It's very close to the going rate. What it is it's unexpected and it's uncomfortable. And the reason I say that right off the bat for people is when you exchange the word expensive for unexpected. What's funny is I wish I would have called you 10 years ago. I wish I would have known we were going to do this build and I would have had you prepped and ready and you wouldn't have noticed it. The problem is it's uncomfortable and it's unexpected. You had a number and this is actually what the going rate is. Now, the reason I say that, I switch the word, it's called a swap out. And when you swap a word, I work with a lot of people in everything from politics to high level transactions to infomercials. When you switch a word on somebody, it changes the biochemistry of them. And I can go deep on that, but this is really important to understand. So when someone goes, that's expensive, you say, actually, it's not. It's very close to the going rate. It's very competitive. What it is it's unexpected. No one is comfortable looking at that many zeros and that many numbers. So let's have that conversation now. And let's talk about that. No matter where you go, it's going to be give or take. It's really who you're going to choose to work with. You got to live with this place long term. And most people are never going to have this conversation. And most people are not going to communicate with you. They're going to send you an invoice. You're going to pay a bill. And then you don't have a partner. All you have is the price that you might have wanted. So this really has to matter. How much does it matter having the right person on your team? And that's the conversation I want to have, one that no one will probably have with you. I promise you this, builders, okay, contractors out there, when you start talking this way at a human level with people, they go, holy shit, this guy cares about me. This guy actually a deeper conversation. So Brandon, that's what I do.
Right, I love that, and I mean, we kind of say something similar, and I want to get your take on this as well. But I always kind of consider it as like I want to culture shock the client as early on in the sales process as possible, so that we can get to the meat and potatoes. Because we know, or I know at least, that person has a threshold of comfortability with what they want to invest in their project, and they are holding these cards. And it's like, as long as we can remove that barrier of trust and get to that card and find out, okay, I got 50 grand I want to spend on X project, then you can at least have a better conversation. My question to you is, at what point do you think it's important for contractors to try to have that, it's unexpected, or it's, a culture shock? When do you think it's a good time to have that conversation?
I like to have these conversations up front. I'm a lot like you. So I like to have these conversations up front. And I like to be very, very direct with people in advance and say, hey, listen, do you know what the biggest challenge of the building world today is? And I would say this. I would say, you know what the biggest challenge with building or doing projects these days, the biggest things we're up against? And I would say it's the internet. And the reason I'd say it's the internet, I would blame something completely outside the box. And the reason I do this is, everyone and their mother is going online and seeing what Joe and Jill have and what Bill and Susie have and what John is doing over here and what this guy's doing. And half of the things you see online, they might not even actually be able to get built. They just look nice. They're AI, right? And you see them. So on a regular basis, I'm up against that. The second biggest thing I'm up against is a number. Every one of us has a number in our head, and there's the number in our head, and then there's the number in reality. So I would love to have that conversation right now on budgets, on what's going on what it is you want, because I can help you stay within that budget. But then we've got to be massively diligent. We got to spend a lot of time. We got to figure it out. And that project may not work the way we need to. So there's two conversations I want to have up front. The more clear we are on what it is we're doing and also what that actual number is and what it really means in the world, I want to have that conversation sooner than later. So the reason I bring this up is I've been on the other end of this thing. I have an I-beam right here. I'd show you in my building, right? I don't know if you do commercial, but I have an I-beam right here in my building. I hired the guy, the engineer the architect that built the building originally. I don't know whether he lost his mind or something, but by the time I got to the blueprints, he forgot there's a 150-foot long I-beam running through my building that when they cut out the wall to do the extension, it was at 4 feet. Well, he forgot it was there. And I had to deal with that. I was not prepared for that level of atrocity to my budget. So what I'm saying is, if he would have said, listen, as soon as we cut that wall, we may or may not find things. And some of it might save us money and some of it might make us money. So the clearer and more honest we are up front, Most of us want to get the deal, but the more honest we are upfront about the economics, the better it is. So you'd even say I'd be remiss or I'd be misleading you if I told you that we get everybody within their budget every time. There isn't a person on the world that can foresee it. So I got one other thing I was going to say, Brandon, that I'm going to show you guys how to do. I cover that in a minute. Does that cover your question? This is pretty exciting.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I do want to add to that too. I have this element that I use as well, where I call clients. So a lot of customers nowadays are getting multiple quotes, which is fine.
Yep.
I mean, to each their own. They're entitled to do whatever they want. So they get multiple quotes, and then they get this element of number fixation is kind of what I call it. And so contractor A comes to talk to client exposes what they're looking to do to the contractor. He interprets it and then puts a number in front of it. And then client, if it's lower than or around their budget, they fixate on it. Then contractor B comes to site, looks at it, says, no, this is actually how we're going to have to do X, Y, Z, and it's going to be this much. Customer thinks that contractor's nuts, even though that contractor might be the right guy. And so because he fumbled kind of the framework of this conversation explaining himself, the client has this number fixation and hires this shitty contractor that has no fucking clue what they're actually going to be doing. And so this happens all the time. I work with a lot of contractors in Toronto, which is an absolute war zone for construction right now. I
got a couple of people in Woodbridge that are doing projects right now and in Oakville, and it's a lot.
Yeah, I've got really good contractors for them if they need some people.
Yeah, I might have to convert you to somebody.
Yeah, I have some really good contractors. But what's happening is like there's this number fixation. So I have a project specifically that I can recall. It was a garage addition. So client wanted a garage addition, and this contractor came and gave this random freaking price, whatever it might be, 10 grand, 20 grand. And so the client's like, oh, that must be, that's fair. We just assume that because he's insured and he's got, business license, he's a good company. So they go to the next contractor gives a price. No, it's going to be closer to like $90,000 to do this. They're like, you're insane. And so they move forward with a contractor A who had this client fixation price. And there's a point to what I'm getting at with this. I want to kind of allude into that. And so, they went with the wrong guy, and contractor B ended up coming back and having to tear everything down and fix everything again. This happens so frequently. And so my question to you is, what can contractor B, the one who had the better price, the one who was actually going to build it properly, what could he have utilized in his vocabulary that would have provided him with a better opportunity to protect that client? Because really, we're not trying to win every job. We're trying to help people in this industry, because that shit also gives all of us a bad name.
Horrible.
Right. And so there are things that contractor B could have done to put a lot of red flags in front of that customer to say, hey, you know what? We shouldn't go with this guy that's giving us this number. We're fixated on it. The reality is it's going to cost this much money, and we got to do X, Y, Z in order to get that to bring the life. What are some things that contractors could say to their clients that would maybe help win them back to an increased price point?
Well, this is how we win people over from the start. So what I'm going to teach you right now is some very basic, simplistic psychology that is going to be based on a concept of rejection breeds obsession, as well as reality. And there's no better, you guys can all write this down, everybody watching this right now or listening, is there's no better sales technique than the truth. The truth is the greatest sales technique in the world. I don't know why people think they have to mislead people, but this is, and not mislead in a bad way or like leave things out. So here's what I would do, Brandon. I would start with somebody, and let's say I sat down with them right off the bat, and I was about to go into a project, and people want to talk numbers and they want to know all this. I said, listen, before we even get started, how familiar are you with how Joe's construction works or how Joe's building service works? And they're going to say, well, I'm not really, right? And then you're going to say, okay, I want to be really clear. If all you want is a builder, you should probably go to Google and just go price match, because that's not what we do. And then you're going to pause and you're going to wait. You've just confused them because they already got a number in their head. They've already thought about what's going on. They have already made up their mind. You don't realize they've already made up their mind before they showed up. They're just waiting for you to activate a number at them. So what we did is what's called cleared the slate. So in real estate, we'd say, hey, listen, if all you want is a real estate agent, go to Google. That's not what we do. Now they're like, well, what the hell does this guy do? Here's what we do. We are going to be part builder, part mind reader, which means I got to learn how to read your mind because there's things in your head that you didn't even tell me that I got to read your mind. We're going to be part coach, which means I got to kick you in the butt sometimes and make you do things. We're going to be part therapist because there's going to be ups and downs. And I'm going to be part communication coach to deal with some of the subs from time to time. And on top of that, we're going to be part designer and we're going to be part thinking. And I'm also going to be part library because I've got all these things. So if all you want is a builder, you can find any price on the web. We're going to bring 20 years of knowledge to you because we know what you're thinking. We know how to communicate that to the subs to actually get the project done. And we're part therapist, meaning like we're going to deal with the emotional roller coaster because let's get clear in advance. Some things we're going to win our bids and do better on it. Some things will be high. Some things will be low. Some things will be this. So the reason we frame it this way, every single one of you do these things for your people. Anyways, half the time they need a therapist. They don't need a builder. They want someone to complain to. And we just got to tell them, am I right about that, Brandon? So we've got to tell them in advance, it's one of our features. And then what happens is at the end, they're like, dude, man, Brandon, this guy, man, I went with XYZ builder and he was really good. He wasn't just a builder. He really knew how to read my mind. He's going to repeat the shit that you just said to the next guy and make you seem more valuable. So what we're doing is we are augmenting what it is we're doing, and we're putting a spotlight on the things that we do. So that's how I train the people we work with to charge a premium. So if you just want a builder, go to the internet. But if you really want someone that'll understand you, deal with your family, help negotiate, I'm part marriage counselor, which means some things you and your wife are going to deal with. I'm going to be doing that for you. And the reason we're saying this stuff is it's the truth. That is how I get a premium up front. I let people know the additional things that I was going to do anyways for free.
I love it. Well, that's some great insight.
Hey, we've got an ad here. Make sure to pay attention. What's up, guys? Are you a contractor or business owner looking to take things to the next level? Well, I've got something for you. The Elite Builder Society is a community that helps contractors grow and scale. For $49 a month, you can have access to 20 group coaching calls. Look, you're probably wondering, how am I going to show up to 20 calls, Brandon? That's a lot. And yeah, it is a lot for $49 a month. But every call is recorded so you can watch it at your leisure. But you get the best experience when you're live on the call with us. Okay, at the end of every webinar, there will be a Q&A where you can ask the industry expert questions that you can implement into your business. Look, if you're ready to take things to the next level for $49 a month, go to ebsworks.com and register today. I look forward to seeing you inside the community.
And you had mentioned that you were going to share something with us. Is there anything else particular that you had that you wanted to share with us?
Well, that was part of it. Is really the frame up front. Is you got to decide how do you want to be referred. Do you want to be referred as a good deal, or do you want to be referred as this? Like my suit guy, I'm not wearing a suit today, but he always says, "Listen, I'm going to apologize once for price, but I'll never apologize for quality." And my suit guy, he says it all the time. And then he says, "Listen, here's the deal. If all you want is a suit, you can get one off the rack. But here's who I am. I'm the guy, here's my phone number, that on a Thursday night or Friday, you're going to date with your wife. I will tell you what to wear based on what kind of night you want to have." And that's what he says. He also sends the swatches. And this is another thing you can say as a builder, especially we're building for families a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
There's conversations I'm going to have with your wife and conversations with you, and I'm going to learn which ones to have with which person. So what you're doing is you're speaking out the obvious in advance to these folks. You see what I'm doing? And by doing this, you're like, you know what? This guy gets me. What you saw on stage, when I got off stage in that video you liked, is this guy gets me. So what we need to do is point out that I get you. Listen, this is a family house. There's going to be things you put in the plan. Your kids are 7 or 8 years old right now. I know you want to put in a teen room. I mean, a playroom. I'm going to recommend we put an extra 30 square feet in, or whatever you guys do, centimeters in Canada. I don't know what you guys do, but
I do inches. I don't do that. I mean, there's a couple of people that do the centimeter thing. It's not for me, honestly.
Dude, I had some Canadian bid one part of our project. He sent it to me in centimeters. He didn't know what to do with himself. So why I'm saying this is we want to point out things to make our value go up. So if I'm looking at you, Brandon, and go, Brandon, you got kids 6 and 7. You're probably thinking playroom, right? Like, yeah, 6, 7. Yeah, I just did that right there. You know, it's funny. I am 6'7", so I say it all the time. Literally, I'm 6'7".
No way.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I'm gonna say that shit all the time with my kids. So we just dated the podcast 2025 because in 2026 we're losers by saying that. The reason I'm saying this right now, it's important, is if you can tell them, I get you. People will pay forever to be gotten. Most husbands and wives don't think the other person gets them. So if the builder gets them, holy moly. So here's what I'm going to give you pushback. And I'm going to tell you, let's build the teen room. Let's build an extra garage now, because your kid is going to drive in 5 years, even though you don't want to have that conversation, and you're going to be pissed later. So let's have that conversation and we can decide whether to do it. Very few builders give pushback. And I'm going to tell you, if you offer them pushback, they will applaud you. No different than a dog or someone being coached. People that can afford a build out, those people truly would like some pushback. And most of you are scared to give pushback up front.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it is important for you to have the confidence that you can stand on your own 2 feet and have a real conversation with your clients about what they may need down the line. So, and it also provides value for them, showing them that you actually give a fuck about their future. So
that's the greatest technique in the world, giving a fuck. It's amazing. I don't want to build the wrong house for you. I do not want you 3 years from now being pissed off going, I built a value home.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Now there's value engineering, but there's not value home.
Exactly. Love it.
What's up, guys? I hope you're enjoying this episode of the Onsite podcast. So here's the deal. We want to grow this show and we need your help. It's simple. Pay the tax, share the show. That's it. Let's get back into it.
So who is Michael? Michael has a family, is in Scottsdale. Tell us a little bit
been
about
here before?
where I have, actually. Yeah.
You Canadians always visit because it's cold there and it's warm here.
I mean, if I'm being honest, you guys have like a weird warm. It's
hot as hell.
I mean, in the summer it's hot as hell, but around Christmas time and when it's cold here, freezing cold here, it's a weird warm. I want it to be hotter, like beach hot, and it's not beach hot.
Yeah, we don't get beach hot. It's like warm enough. It's not like Cabo. So I'm a dad, first and foremost, husband and a dad. My family is number one priority. I've got 2 exceptional daughters. My wife and I are in business together. We've been doing this I married the preacher's kid, so I've been doing this for 20-something years. We started working together about 4 years after that. And so she came in already knowing how to help people and build organizations and do things. And I've got my oldest works for me. She runs our social media, and she also is an artist, which is great. I raise entrepreneurs and capitalists. That's the one thing I tell you. I'm very big on capitalism, and I'm very big on entrepreneurship. So I believe that if we don't figure out capitalism, Amazon and the government's going to just eat our lunch. So we absolutely have to continually educating entrepreneurs. My youngest is a highly competitive figure skater because we live on the ice, my family, because I'm part Canadian and Russian. So we're cold. And that's my day-to-day, everything I do. And then the rest of the time I'm shows like this or on a stage somewhere in the world, sharing with people how to use their words to get what they want.
I love it, man. Well, that's awesome. I entered into this space only a couple years ago, if I'm being completely honest. I've been doing supportive conversations with close friends, clients, subs, vendors for my whole life. You've been
a builder your whole life, or you've been?
I've been a contractor for over 2 decades, and then ventured into online coaching a couple of years ago.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's very fulfilling. I've helped hundreds of contractors all across North America just organize their business. We've had super emotional conversations. We've won, we've lost together. Lots of great growth together. So it's been very rewarding. But what I was getting at is that, I learned maybe 4 or 5 years ago that my superpower was people. And just really understanding the good that people have, and then hyper focusing on that singular element of, that amplifies their ability to live. Like when somebody really understands, okay, I'm really good at this, it fulfills me universally. And if I dig all in on that, it provides me with this other life that I've never experienced. And so that's essentially what I'm doing with this coaching is it's great business also, but at the same time, it's great fulfillment. And so, I love that you've been able to do that with your family and that you encourage your kids, because it's needed. People need to be heard, and they need a platform to speak, and they need to feel like it's okay to speak and maybe not know what to say. And so I love that you're doing that. I love that I love your talks, by the way, too.
Thank you.
If you're listening, I followed you on Instagram, so that's where we're going to promote you. But if there's somewhere else to promote you, if we could, where can we find you on Instagram?
Yeah, it's Michael_Bernoff. It's Michael_Bernoff. I own Michael Bernoff. I just can't figure out why I won't forward it to it. So it's Michael_Bernoff. And check it out. And our stuff's raw and real. Like we caught on to Brandon. We caught on a couple years ago. I kept on putting out sales and business, and then like I get a few likes. Dude, I got 3 million views in the last 3 weeks on organically with 25,000 followers. And here's what we started posting. Things that matter to people. Entrepreneurs have children usually. They're so good at selling and influencing, and they come home, their kids don't listen, or what the hell's going on? Or somebody's like, wait a second, why is it I can do this at work and I can't do it here? So we started posting like real life stuff. And I realized like that's people's biggest Achilles is their personal life of what's going on. So we've been teaching people like sales is cute. I got past the economic issue in my life at 27, thank God. But Jim Rohn, which is my mentor, that guy up there, I don't know if you've ever heard of him before, but that was Tony Robbins' mentor. That's my mentor. Jim passed in 2009. And I got past the economic thing quickly because he told me to get past that. Then I realized you got to deal with people the rest of your life. So watch some of those videos, follow that channel, and the reason we're getting views, I'm becoming people's like therapist online. They're like, but what about this? And what about that? And help me with this and help me with that. Because at the end of the day, like you just said, people want to be heard. Why do we think our contract, our person, we're the contractor, but the person that contracts us, our client, why don't you think that they want to be heard and loved and cared about? So if we can make them feel immaculate, amazing, incredible, but also call them out on their shit when they need to and tell them no. Okay, we need to build a relationship with them. And I'm going to tell you, human beings, shitty at building relationships. And the better we get at building real relationships, not people to like us, that's the change. That's what you'll find on the channel.
I love it, man. I love this conversation that we're having. And,
me too.
I had no idea what to expect. I just knew that from the stuff that I had saw online, I knew that it would be a great conversation. Okay, so yeah, make sure you go give Michael a follow and engage with this content. It's really good. You'll get a lot out of it for sure. Again, it's right there. So, perfect. Michael, you mentioned earlier on, prior to us, starting the recording, you had some projects of your own going on. Yep. Tell us a little bit about what those are.
Well, we've done a bunch of things. I own a building. We bought a building years ago, so I did my build out my project here. We've done 2 or 3 phases on this. So one of the projects we just finalized this. I went to battle with the hotel space because it was expensive hotels were. So I bought an event space, and which is amazing. And I've got 30-foot ceilings and a 36-foot tall video wall, 18-foot tall video wall by 36 feet. It's sick. It's amazing. So I've got a building with that. I'm building a new home right now. I'm building a beautiful project, amazing home with multiple offices and a podcast studio and casita and huge pool. Like I'm building this. Anyone in this would love that project. Does that make sense? And I'm pulling in a lot of my buddies to help with it as much as possible. Some are willing to bid it correctly, some aren't, and that's okay. So we're building a gorgeous home, and we're also going to be doing another one while we're in the middle of it down the street. This thing is falling over. I want to knock it over and do a spec on that as well. So that's the project now. But I'm in the middle of a 2-year project of land that we bought and a really intensive build on an acre and a third out here in Scottsdale.
Nice. And what phase is that project at right now?
Oh, I don't know what you call phase. Frustration, annoyed, bothered. No, I'm just kidding. I like to make jokes because humor is powerful. So the phase I'm at right now is cabinets down, floors getting picked. We've done electrics in, a pool's dug. I'd say we're in that last 30%, 25-30%. Yeah. We got countertops about to go. Floors, countertops, paint's up, windows are in. We're at that phase right now. The pool, shotcrete, all that stuff.
Yeah, you're deep into the project. Pretty much once drywall's on, it's a home run to the finish line, or not, and you're uncovering all the things that weren't planned out properly.
We did a knockover, so this is a complete new build. So a lot of it's on spec. The one part that they don't prepare people for, this is interesting, and I saw it on this project, was our spatial awareness. And we're going to want to tell people, especially if you're doing a brand new build, is you're going to want to tell people there's 4 phases you're going to go through. One is you're going to want to make it bigger. Then you're going to want to make it smaller when you hear the number. It's just that's the way it's going to be. And then you're going to sit on the lot when we paint it, and it's going to look small. Then we're going to drop concrete, and then it's going to look big. And then we're going to put up walls, and it's going to look even bigger. And then we're going to drop the cabinets and shrink the rooms by 30%. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we need to tell people what's going to happen. Because remember, when the mind knows, Amazon did a study on this. In the old days, Amazon used to have pick out, a bottle of water. You go to buy it, or a book. There were books back in the days. One of my favorite books, As Man Thinketh. And you buy a book, and then they're done. But what Amazon learned is if you give people the progress, Give me your name and email. Give me your address. Let me know your credit card, where you're going to send it. So we want to give people progress points. So I'm sitting there by myself on a Sunday after church with my wife, and we're looking at this thing going, God, it's not as big as we thought it was, and there's a big bill. What I needed to know was we were at the delusion phase. So if anyone can name the process, and this is what they do in politics, they do in marketing, is they name the process. So there's the excitement phase, there's the scared phase, the frustrated phase, the delusion phase, the overwhelmed phase, then I got to freaking furnish it phased, right? So whatever it is if we can lay out phases for people, then what happens is, remember Bill, I told you, remember Johnny, I told you, this is the delusion phase. Right. And most people are not doing that. Take 6 minutes, make up some silly emotional names for things, give it to them, and let them know the 6 phases that your stuff goes through.
I love that. I believe that, and maybe I'm wrong, but in Arizona, there is a business that has a giant warehouse, and they put the drawings on a floor, and you can.
They've got the video wall like we have with the projection down. Yes.
Yeah, and you can walk the floor plan of your home and get that spatial awareness. Yep. There's a few of those places. I don't know like how profitable that model would be, because
when you're selling a $5 to $10 million home, it's probably profitable. That technology is probably $1 million or $500,000 but it's worth it, because again, it's the distinct advantage that you're able to turn around and go, here's what I offer. So I've seen those before. I've never used it, but that gets you through the delusion phase pretty quickly.
Well, what I'm getting at is that, it's a product that I think would add a lot of value, but, you didn't even use it. And I think it's in your neighborhood and you're aware of it. And so what I'm getting at is that, that business, although it's really, really needed, people are still not necessarily utilizing the tools that help them, solve their, awareness concerns. Because that is a big thing, I didn't think the window should, be like that. Or, I thought this, the closet wouldn't really intrude into my space. Or, I thought this room would be a little bit wider. Those are all things that come up throughout the build process. Michael, it's been a great conversation. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the listeners? Most of the people that are listening are renovation contractors, builders. They're all just trying to grow. Everyone's just trying to grow. They're trying to become the best version of themselves, or at least they should be. And
they should be. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, your business has nothing to do with how well you sell. That's a piece of it as well, to do with how much you're willing to sell yourself on being who you're capable of being. So what's funny is people meet me and they think, oh, Michael teaches sales, and that's the least thing I do. I help people a lot more with language, communication of themselves. And it's interesting because I would say the biggest thing you've got to address right now if you want to build your businesses, we're so busy building our businesses, we're not building our own psychology of what it is we do. So when is the last time you took the time to build you? And that's what I love, Brandon. You're offering coaching and stuff. I offer psychology, and not traditional psychology, but psychological stuff that I help people break past. I mean, I'm not here to promote my book, but you should definitely read it. It's called Average Sucks. And it's really about why we get stuck in the same business or life year in, year out. I mean, I could look at 90% of your people. They may go with the economy, but they make about the same amount of money in a 5 or 10 year period. They have the same amount of times of vacation. They're having the same conversations. We have an average in life that controls all the things that we do. And what we've got to recognize from ourselves is our job is to really become who it is we're capable of being. And I really think a lot of us want to be better builders. My challenge for all of you is, are you willing to build a better version of you to actually be a better builder? That's my call out.
I love it. That's great. And Michael, you're totally fine to plug your book here. Is there a site where the listeners can go to connect with you, or use some of your products?
A couple ways. Average Sucks. You can get my book. Definitely follow me on Instagram. I typically will say this. I throw this out there to everybody, is if you're like a serious person, you're like, dude, like you, Brandon, like I want to have you on my show, or I'd like to have you train my people or take a class or something. I throw this out there, and this is real. Like, this is a real thing. So I'm going to give you a number. It's 480-800-8051, 480-800-8051. Text the word influence. It'll send you a little something back. My team literally manages that. Set up a time to talk with me. I mean, or potentially somebody on my team, depending on what your conversation is. If you want to call to find out like what my favorite hockey team is, it's the New York Rangers. There's no reason to, it's no reason to do that. But what I'm getting at is, if you're serious or want to know like about classes, courses, or anything, just send us a text and somebody will help you. I'm old school, dude. I'm a Gen Xer. Pick up the freaking phone. Send me a text. Call me.
Yeah, I love that, man. Well, this is awesome. I'm so glad that we had an opportunity to connect, and I'm definitely going to schedule up a follow-up meeting with you. I think there's a lot of universal support that we could provide for some of the people that we work with, and I think it's my duty, or our duty as people, is to connect people with other people that can really help them grow and become the best versions of themselves. And that's really what I really enjoy about this new industry, is that I get the opportunity and the luxury of connecting with so many incredible people across, North America and the world for that matter. So, Michael, I really appreciate this conversation again. Thank you so much again.
Absolutely.
If you're not following Michael, go give him a follow. You'll really enjoy his content, and you'll be glad you did. Thanks so much, Michael,
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, and keep on doing great things out there, guys. You got to be the best industry in the world. Make sure to keep on sharing greatness with people.
Thanks, man.
All right, that concludes this episode of the Onsite Podcast. Remember, if you enjoyed this episode, please pay the tax, share the show. Guys, if you want to be a part of the Elite Builder Society, all you got to do is pay $49 a month. That's it. $49 a month. You get 20 group coaching calls every month. Okay? Go to ebsworks.com and register today. If you enjoyed the show, please pay the tax and share the show.